Hey, how's everybody doing today? So, I want to get caught up here. I've had uh, some things I've been taking care of this last week or so, and haven't been able to get some of these recordings up. But I want to get caught up here. There was a few recordings I wanted to post for everybody to listen to, as well as show you some of the evidence of the case dismissals in the Zanesville Municipal Court. I'm going to go through the online docket and show you all of the times that they have committed trust fraud and have attempted to terrorize me and attack me to silence me and or get me to go away because they didn't want to address the noise issues. They were protecting the businesses that were the business owners or business operators that were making all of the noise, using all this heavy equipment, heavy machinery in the middle of the night. That's constantly going. It's not just brief. It's ongoing. And anybody who is in the neighborhood back here around Wiz TV, or really in most parts of the city, not all, but in a lot of parts of the city, I've noticed the noise coming from these plants. Even sitting in a Walmart parking lot or sitting in the VA parking lot. Sometimes in the morning or even the afternoon. And of course, at that point, it's not necessarily a disturbance of the peace, but the noise is so loud coming from Casting Solutions, a real high pitched, like almost a ringing noise. Not extremely high pitched, but it sounds almost the same pitch and tone as the tornado sirens, but it just doesn't reverberate. It doesn't oscillate. It's just a constant sound, almost like a tea kettle, but a little bit lower pitched. Anyways, so I've heard this noise from Casting Solutions all over the city, but it predominantly bothers me, and it's only a disturbance of the peace to me at nighttime, when according to the law it's supposed to be quiet and peaceful. We're not supposed to have all this noise and ruckus and heavy machinery, heavy equipment, and the stave company over here on Sharon Avenue operating what is it, 22 hours a day or something like that was what an employee told me. Excuse me. They run their sawmill and they break down those whole trees to make the barrels. And so there's times when it sounds like they're dropping these trees on the conveyor belts and make all these crashing noises. And there's times when I don't know what they're doing exactly, but it sounds like they're sifting rocks because it sounds like rocks cascading across a steel plate, a large steel plate. And it's very, very aggravating. And so, I've heard this from time to time too. And again, anybody that lives over off Sharon Avenue, in the neighborhood of the area around Sharon Avenue and White Oak Avenue, um, you would know what I'm talking about, and you can attest to the disturbing noise problem. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a couple of recordings first off. The first one I'm going to play is a conversation that I had with Sergeant Padnod, a sergeant with the Zanesville Police Department. And I mean, of all people, a sergeant should be able to figure out what they're supposed to do. But when there's no when there's no accountability, rather. I mean, I guess they're not being responsible either. But when there's no accountability, they can, they think they can do whatever they want and you know, get away with it. So even though there's no repercussions necessarily from the prosecution filing charges against these people, because I mean, why would they bite the hand that feeds them? It's the police that brings all these trust fraud actions in, so that way the prosecutors and the courts can manipulate the system and play on people's ignorance and naivete to create these trust fraud actions and profit off of it. Profit themselves by the position and the money that they're being paid to act in the role that they're acting in, whether it be quote unquote the prosecutor or quote unquote the judge. Because I mean, let's be honest, God is the only judge. These people are imposters. In fact, the one I stood in front of looked like damn bozo with these giant shoes, a black dress, and pink lipstick. I mean, these people are just delusional. And unfortunately, because most people don't understand the truth or know the truth, or actually a better word to use is comprehend the truth, they take advantage of that ignorance or that naivete and profit off of it. So before I go any further, without further ado here, let me pull up this first recording. And again, this is Sergeant Patnod with the Zanesville Police Department. I'm having a conversation with him. This is the 22nd of May of 2021. This is just about 2 weeks or so before they came to my this property and threatened my life and abducted me, threw me in a cage, abused me, harassed me. I mean, just you name it, assaulted me, all because they didn't want to do their jobs and they were tired of hearing me complain about the noise. So here you go.
Fire Police Dispatcher Massey?
Yeah, I'm calling about this disturbing noise. I'm wondering what it's going to take for you people to actually do something about it. I've been complaining about it for 33 months, and I can't even get people to pay attention at this point. So,
Sir, Sergeant Patnell wants to speak with you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm waiting. You can put him on the phone?
Okay, just a second. Sir, Mr. Patnell is on the phone.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, Brent, how you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Sorry about that.
No,
Night?
say what?
Said you having a rough night?
No, not any more than normal. I mean, I don't know what that has anything to do with the fact that apparently none of y'all know how to do your jobs according to the codes and statutes.
And Brandon, listen, we're extremely busy tonight. The girls have the phones ringing off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking your complaints and we're documenting them.
So you guys are too busy.
The girls don't have time to sit and talk on the phone with you tonight.
Yeah, I don't have time to do it either. I'd rather be enjoying my property, but I can't do that because you guys have failed to do your job for the last 33 months, roughly. And now the excuse is you're too busy?
Yeah, we're busy. Yeah, we have priority calls happening, Brandon.
Oh, so what were the excuses all the other 33 months that you guys have failed to do anything about this? You just waiting for new excuses?
I don't think we've failed to do anything, Brandon.
You yourself have failed to do your job. You told me yourself that you failed because you supposedly investigated it. You went to the stave company, sat in their parking lot, but didn't bother doing a report, didn't bother following through. None of that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got the recorded conversation on my YouTube channel. You might want to listen to what you had to say, if you don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I sat there. Yeah, you can hear noise, Brandon, but that's in the parking lot, bud.
Okay, so what about my property? Are you failing to understand that when that noise comes all the way from their property to my property, when their noise encroaches my property, it's called trespassing. That's a crime.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's physically trespassing on your property?
It's called a trespass. Look, the fact that you're making a statement like that tells me that either you're ignorant or you just want to pick a fight.
I'm ignorant now, Brandon?
Well, you obviously don't understand the definition of the word trespass.
Explain it to me.
No, I don't need to explain it to you. You need to talk to your boss. And if you can't figure it out for yourself, then you should be fired. If you're that incompetent you can't figure out a definition of a word, then maybe you shouldn't be doing the job. Maybe you should be getting paid to do the job because obviously you can't even figure out a definition of a word, how can you do your other duties and obligations?
Have I disrespected you in any way, Brandon? Have
Yeah.
I called you any name?
It doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't?
No. And just for the record, I'm just identifying the problems. I'm not calling you names. I'm identifying your failures. I'm identifying your shortcomings.
You just called me incompetent, Brandon.
That's explaining the fact that you're a failure. You can't perform. You can't perform. See, you have to remove your sensitive little feelings.
I don't have any feelings. I could give a crap less what you say to me.
Well, you're taking it personal when I'm explaining how incompetent you are. You're making it sound like I'm calling you incompetent. No, I'm just explaining how incompetent your actions are. I'm explaining your actions, not you. You have the ability to change. You have the ability to actually do better. But that's on you. I can't force you. I can only lead a horse to water. I can't force it to drink. I can tell a bigot the truth, but I can't force it to think.
Right, you're right. You're right.
So that's up to you. You're personally responsible for your own actions. So
hey, how about I grab some paperwork and I'll come up to the house and you can write me a statement down.
Why do I need to do that?
For what's going on. You can write down the times that you're hearing noise, what the noise is, where it's coming from, and tell me all about the 33 months that we failed to do our job. And I'm going to pass it along to somebody more important than I am.
So why haven't you done this before now?
Does that sound good to you?
Just out of curiosity.
Does that sound good to you?
No, because you're just going to waste my time. What you can do, if you want to be efficient, since you're getting paid, I'm not, you can actually go to my YouTube channel. I've got all the recorded evidence there going all the way back to 2018. I've got your conversations.
Some of your YouTube stuff, Brandon.
Okay.
I've watched some of your stuff.
So what does that mean?
I've watched some of your videos.
And?
Yeah, they're videos. You have some things going on.
Some things going on. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know if I can help you out, man. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh really? Oh really? So tell me in your expert opinion, what is it you think I need help with?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, you've tried everything with AEP, the Wiz, all that stuff. So I don't know what I can do to help you out.
Well, you haven't been paying attention. Maybe at some point, if you'd have paid attention, you could figure it out. But you haven't paid attention. So you're still talking about Wiz and AEP, this, that, and the other thing. You don't even know what you're talking about. You guys haven't. You guys haven't bothered investigating the whole entire situation. So you have a very limited aspect of what's actually going on, and so. I mean, just the ignorant statements are overwhelming. See, and I think I even explained it to you at one point, but I guess it's just these thick skulls that you can't really get through. There's noise coming from the power lines that I've had identified by AEP themselves. They had technicians come out and identify that there's low frequency noise coming from the power lines. So just so we can establish that. So it's not, Wiz and AEP and all this. It's not like I'm going after all these people for no reason, like you're trying to make it sound.
No, I never said that, Brandon.
No, that's what you're insinuating. No, that's what you're insinuating when you say, oh, you're going after Wiz and AEP and this, that, and the other thing. Like I'm just attacking people for no reason.
And what AEP say they're going to do about the lines for you?
They refuse to fix the lines. That's why I had to file a lawsuit. And because of you people, you public servants, don't know how to do your jobs right, and the fraud that you all have committed, and I'm trying to remember, I think you may have been part of it. I don't know about all the instances, but maybe one or two of the instances. I can't recall specifically, but in December of 2018 and August of 2019 and then July and August of 2020, the fraud that was committed against me and the violent attacks that you all perpetrated on me and the detectives that work for the department you work for, all because you guys refuse to do your job and address this noise problem. You guys keep trying to create false and fraudulent charges and try to charge me with them, and in an attempt to harass and intimidate, or maybe just terrorize me, or maybe this is what you do to other people, and they eventually have enough of it and just relocate and get the hell away from you people. I don't know what the situation might be, but the fact that you guys haven't done your job according to the law to address this nuisance noise problem that trespasses my property, and the violent actions that you all have taken against me, terrorize me on my property, harass and intimidate me, manipulated the courts with fraudulent and false charges and fraudulent affidavits and all kinds of good stuff that's against the law. Instead of doing your job, see, that's considered treason. When you are actively performing violent acts, attacking the people you're supposed to protect, violating the Constitution, violating those people's God-given rights, that's called treason. You do understand this, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Well, it would behoove you to pay attention and not commit treason, because it's a pretty serious offense. And people who are found guilty of committing treason, it's the consequences are pretty dire, or can be, depending on. Well, you should know.
I don't. That's out of my league, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I think every American has a duty to understand what their obligations are, and when we fail to follow the law, we fail to uphold the law, when we perform violent acts instead of our duties and obligations that are outlined to us, but would rather attack a man because he's complaining about nuisance noise.
Who attacked you?
Well, you all that came to my property multiple times and cornered me and threatened me with violence, putting guns in my face and threatened to tase me, and if I didn't comply, I kind of lost track of all of you, and quite frankly, a number of you were in plain clothes when you showed up, so I couldn't even tell if you guys were actually, or like who you guys were. Yeah,
Well, I don't recall that, and the only time I've been up to your house is when I talked to you through the window.
Yeah, well, it might do you some good to pay attention. That's why I had to file my lawsuit, not just because of the noise. The lawsuit is actually pertaining to the malfeasance, the criminal misconduct that you public servants have committed against me here at my property. The trespassing, the violent acts, the threats, the threats of my life, the putting my life in risk, my safety at risk. That's what I had to file my lawsuit in regards to. And because this all originated from the problem with the electric company and the changes that they made. See, if they wouldn't have made their changes, who knows if the local area businesses' noise would have gotten as loud as it has. Who knows if I would have had the experience I did with you people. But it's pretty simple to see that AEP comes in and makes changes. They trespass my property, they affect my property, damaging my health and me.
What did AEP do, Brandon?
I've already explained that to you. So it all began there.
Frequency coming through the power line.
It all began there, and because of the nature of the sound, because it sounds very mechanical at the beginning, I was very confused on where the noise was coming from. And because the noise was coming from these local area businesses, and this noise from the power line sounds very mechanical, I thought, well, it's probably just coming from these other businesses as well. That's why originally when I was calling you people to come out to do your jobs, and I was confused. I didn't know where the noise was coming from. All I know is I could hear
all this loud ass noise that anybody could hear that I could record and play back. But conveniently, when you all would come out to my property, we would have conversations. You would say, "Oh yeah, I can hear the noise," and then I'd find out that in the reports that you all would write, "We didn't hear anything. There is no noise." Trying to make me sound like I'm crazy or something, I guess. I mean, who knows? Or maybe it's just the incompetence. I don't know. It's like I could speculate all I want, but it doesn't make any sense how people can come up here and have a conversation with me and tell me that they hear the same noise that I'm hearing, that I can record and play back. And then, according to their reports, there was no noise, supposedly. It's all this interesting, like, contradictions. Like, for example, telling me that you guys can't go into the county for any reason, but then going into the county for a littering problem, telling me that you can't go to the county for the noise problem, but then finding out that you actually were able to. You yourself actually did. So it's all this back and forth and contradicting yourselves, and in one breath telling me you can't go into the county, the next breath telling me you did go into the county, and you heard the noise, but you didn't do anything. You didn't bother filing a report. You didn't bother nothing.
I can drive in the county all I want. Whether I can enforce any kind of laws that's not the case.
Well, right. Well, I never said enforce. Throughout this whole ordeal, I never expected you guys to go to the county to enforce anything. What I've expected you to do is your job and investigate. And like you had stated, you went to the stave company, you sat in the parking lot, you heard the noise, and that's where you left it. You didn't bother doing anything else. You didn't follow through. That's a failure.
Man, I hear all kinds of noise all night long.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there.
We're in the city, Brandon. There's noises.
Really?
There's cars driving the roadway.
Really?
Yeah. There's horns honking.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's not supposed to be sustained machinery running at full throttle or high idle or however you wanted to explain it. Static machinery, not moving, not traffic, but static machinery running at just full tilt. Now there's a difference between the machinery running in a static location and traffic noise. In fact, hold on a second. In fact, there's another property owner over here off of Sharon Avenue that I had spoken to the other day that explained to me, they said that they've been calling Streets and Sanitation to complain about the stave company because they've had issues with the noise, and they told me they've been calling Streets and Sanitation. I told them they're supposed to call you guys because it's your guys' job to investigate the crime.
Yeah.
But another issue that they have, and I hear it all the time too, and it is annoying, but there's all this other noise too. One of the biggest issues that they have, they said, is the Jake brake usage from the trucks coming in and out of that stave company. It's not just the production noise from the facility, but the trucks using their Jake brake, and that's not supposed to be used in the city. In fact, I think they even said that there's a sign put up over there where it says no Jake brake, but they constantly use the Jake brake coming in and out of that facility. I hear it all the time.
I'd gladly sit out there and take care of the Jake brake problem for you.
Well, you all should be. I mean, that's what you all are getting paid to do, or part of what you all are getting paid to do is protect the community from these types of nuisances. And
well, this is the first time that anybody, including yourself, has ever said anything about having issues with Jake brakes.
Okay, fair enough. But with that being said, at any given point in time, had you all done your job and paid attention fully to the situation, be fully situationally aware, if while sitting in the parking lot of the stave company, you probably would have heard the Jake brakes of the trucks coming in and out of the facility, depending on how long you sat there for. But
if a truck was up by, yeah, I would have heard him.
Right. So does somebody have to say something about it for it to be a crime, or can you observe it and address the crime yourself?
Oh yeah, I can observe it.
Right. So if you guys would have been observing the nuisance noise from the stave company's production, then at any given point in time, you would have witnessed the usage of the Jake brake by these trucks, and you could have addressed that problem, or posted a unit over here to catch them in the act or prevent them from using it, because if, of course, if they see a cruiser or an officer, they're not going to use it.
Right.
Out of fear of getting fined. So, I mean, that would be a simple solution, but no one has bothered to think about that. It's this type of, I don't know if inadequacy or incompetence, I don't know what the right word to use is. It's this type of failure that has me.
We can't be everywhere at all times, so a lot of times unless somebody lets us know what's going on, we won't know. Because we can't just sit over on Sharon Avenue for an 8-hour shift, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you know how many times I call in and complain about this noise?
If somebody called in and said, hey, trucks are traveling down Sharon Avenue right now using our Jake brake, sure, we would go over there and look at it.
Yeah, I'm calling right now, genius.
And we have gone up and looked at your state company, Brandon, but I don't know that it's even loud enough that that we'll be able to hear it from where you're at.
It doesn't make a difference. The fact that I can hear it, I'm the one that's being injured in this situation. I'm the one that can hear it. I'm the one that it's a nuisance to. It doesn't make a difference whether you can hear it or not. I mean, it would help. It would help if you all pay attention and can hear it. I mean, anybody that has two God-given ears and normal hearing would be able to hear this. So to use that as an excuse is ridiculous. It's irrelevant. I mean, first of all, I get that you guys can't sit over here for an 8-hour shift, but when I call in to complain about the extreme excessive noise, you guys can come over and check it out and spend, I don't know, say 20 minutes, half hour. Well, I don't know how long you guys can spend scoping it out and checking it out. Maybe find a place to post up, for a few moments or whatever. Because I see you guys parked in different parts of the city all the time. You guys are just sitting there. So there's no reason that you guys can't send a unit over to kind of scope out the area. Maybe sit at the bottom of the hill and just pay attention. Just listen. If it's loud enough to reach my property, you guys will be able to hear it at the bottom of the hill right there at Sharon.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that we're having this conversation, I mean, I hope that we're getting somewhere, but the simple fact that you all haven't been able to figure this out and just do this yourselves before and now, in this last roughly 33 months of dealing with this, that's what I call incompetent. Because you all should be able to figure it out. I get that you guys got other things, you guys are taking care of as well. This isn't the only issue you guys have to take care of. I get that. But at some point in almost 3 years of complaining, I mean, between the dispatchers and officers and supervisors and directors and so forth, you all should be able to figure it out. And I shouldn't have to break down and micromanage the police department to figure out who isn't doing their job. The reason why this is happening is because there's no accountability. Because you guys think qualified immunity makes you immune to anything. And so I suspect that you guys use that as a license to violate the law or ignore the law, or conveniently pick and choose which laws to follow or enforce. Thinking that the immunity is going to cover you, that you guys won't be held liable. But the qualified immunity it's not a license to break the law. It just covers you in situations where accidents happen. You're traveling to a scene of an emergency and you get in an accident and you kill somebody. It's an accident. That's where you're covered. But it doesn't cover public servants that willfully and blatantly violate the law and violate their oaths of their office and to the Constitution, if they have. So, I think that's the biggest problem is the public servants here in Zanesville need to understand that qualified immunity is not a license to break the law. And it doesn't put any of you people above anybody else here. We are all equal. We all have, actually, technically, I mean, all of us men and women are equal, but once you people become a public servant, you're acting as an agent for a certain service corporation or company. You actually give up your rights. You actually technically have less rights than I do because of the position that you're acting in.
Yep, you're right again.
So that's what makes this even more frustrating for me, because here I'm being treated as if I have less rights when it's actually the opposite. You guys should be held to a higher standard. But you're not being held to a higher standard because there's no accountability here. So, and that's why we're having this conversation. What was that?
No, I just, you got some good points, Brandon.
Yeah, well, this isn't personal. I'm not having fun doing this. I'm not enjoying this. I would rather you guys just do your job, and I would prefer not to have to keep calling you guys. But
yeah, I think that'd probably be the preferred for everybody.
Well, yeah, but until you guys do your job, I have an obligation to report the crimes.
Yeah, yep, you sure do.
And you guys have an obligation to address the issue because of the fact that my property is located within the incorporated area of the city, and the noise is encroaching the city and my property, trespassing both. That actually authorizes you to perform certain actions according to Ohio Revised Code 3767, and whomever is designated. I still haven't found out who is actually designated within the city public servants to address this matter. I don't know if it's the law director, I don't know if it's public safety director, the police chief. According to Ohio Revised Code 3767, when I was reading there, it explained it's typically one of those three, unless there's a different person that's designated. So, but no one in the 33 months, almost 3 years of me complaining about this and having these conversations, no one has been able to explain to me or tell me who or whom is actually designated to address this problem.
Well, we got a chain of command just like in the military, man. It starts at the top with the mayor and goes down to the safety director, the chief of police, the captain, lieutenant, sergeant, so on and so forth.
Well, sure. I mean, I get that. And to be frank with you, I've spoken to all of them. I've got them all on record, not only being aware of the problem, but acknowledging that there's a problem and promising to address the problem, but then not only not addressing the problem, but finding myself in new situations where I have fraud being committed against me because public servants would rather commit fraud and create fraudulent charges and manipulate the courts and create false warrants I guess the only thing I can speculate is to harass and intimidate me and in an attempt to silence me, I guess. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense, honestly, from my perspective. Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I have not broken any laws. I have not violated anything. I didn't threaten anybody. I've just been upset because of this rigmarole and runaround, and my frustration's been weaponized against me. And see, like back in 2018, real quick, when public servants came to my property and threatened my life, threatened my safety, all because I was calling and complaining about noise. That's definitely concerning. When I'm complaining about noise because I want to enjoy my property that I've worked so hard to be able to purchase, and we all should be able to enjoy our property within reason. And instead of getting any relief from the ridiculous noise that should be addressed, I get uniformed thugs coming to my property, putting guns in my face, threatening to shoot and tase me and everything else, and then arresting me, trying to charge me with codes and statute violations that don't even apply to me because I'm a man. They only apply to businesses, corporations, and people who are acting on behalf of businesses and corporations, like bus drivers, taxi drivers, that sort of thing, delivery drivers.
See, again, my radio overpowered you.
No, I was just explaining the fraud. See, I'm trying to understand why it is that instead of you all addressing the noise nuisance issue, the problem, this trespassing that's occurring on my property and has for a long time now, instead of addressing that, the department, public servants there in the department would rather commit fraud, harass and intimidate me, come to my property and threaten my life and threaten my safety, lock me up in a cell for 50 hours, not even give me an opportunity to make a phone call, to get a hold of any family, to take care of my animals or nothing. Like just completely abusive. And the only reason I can think of is because I've called and complained about noise. Because the excuses that were given as to why I was treated the way I was were false. They were non-existent.
What were they?
Well, and let's see, in 2018, it was inducing panic, which I never did. I mean, in fact, it was the public servants that came to my property that day that I have recorded that induced panic on me at my property. And so it appears that there's this, for lack of better terms, gaslighting that's been going on where public servants perform actions, and instead of calling their actions the way that they are, they gaslight those actions and they project those actions onto me in that situation. So, for example, like I stated, I was ridiculously charged with inducing panic, I think is what the charge was. That code actually could not be applied to me. What was done then, even back then, was fraud, because codes and statutes don't apply to men and women. They only apply to corporations and agents that are acting on behalf of corporations or businesses. So when you all charged me or tried to charge me back in 2018, that was fraud. When the whole thing that happened in 2019, manipulating the Lieutenant Schilling and a couple other public servants manipulated the VA medical staff and manipulated them to create a pink slip because they were feeding them false information about me, sensationalized reports about my state of mind and other things, and completely exaggerating the situation. And that was actually human trafficking. I was abducted from my property and human trafficked by you guys because it was all based on fraud. You guys had no actual probable cause or jurisdiction to act. You guys just came to my property and threatened me with guns, putting guns in my face, and told me if I didn't comply, you'd shoot me or tase me or whatever. So anybody in the right mind would probably try to go along as best they could because, it's self-preservation.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, at any given point in time, in my opinion, I was well within my right. I could have retaliated in the moment. But then the public servants at that time would have used that as an excuse to take further actions, and I think that's what was expected. I think it was expected to turn into an escalated situation, to try to let the problem fix itself, I guess, for lack of better terms. I think, in my opinion, that's what I think was happening was I was being poked and prodded into a situation where I was trying to be poked and prodded into a reaction. But you all didn't get the reaction you were looking for. It actually kind of backfired. because I don't think you all realized that I knew how to access the courts and how to file a lawsuit. And so at this point, I think you all have a lot of egg on your face, and I think a lot of you are reluctant to eat crow and just do the right thing. I don't know if it's a pride issue or what it is. But at this point, all that's out the window. The personal side of all this. I mean, even though I kind of take it personal sometimes by the actions, the moral of the story, if you will, is that you guys just need to do your jobs according to the laws, the codes, and statutes that bind you, and nothing further. And that's it. And I'm passionate about that, and I want to see public servants do the right thing. I don't want to see you all contributing to the downfall of our society and our country. I mean, for crying out loud, it's already gotten worse enough, hasn't it? Or bad enough?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So listen, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate the conversation, but at some point, I would hope that you all would be able to figure out what you need to do. And if you all need to sit down and have a powwow and have a coming to Jesus moment, or you all need to meet with the law director to get a proper explanation, or go to an unbiased source and get an unbiased opinion or explanation of the law, whatever you need to do, I suggest you all do it, because I'm frankly, I'm tired of talking to you all.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing from me too. But again, you wouldn't be hearing from me if you guys would just address the problem and fix it according to the law. So whatever I can do to help you all do that, I'm willing to help you all. But yeah, I mean, this is getting beyond ridiculous and beyond excessive. So yeah, I'll leave you with this, and I'll let you go. I'll reiterate: look up Ohio Revised Code 3767. It'll explain to you how to address the situation in the courts, who it identifies is supposed to handle the situation, and maybe you can pass that information in a report up the chain of command to whomever is responsible, whether it be the police chief, the public safety director, the law director, or someone else. But you should be able to read and understand that code and figure out how to apply the information there to the situation accordingly, and get that information through the proper channels. So I mean, maybe that's the problem. Maybe your supervisors haven't gotten the right information. I don't know. I highly doubt that's the case, because of all the information that I've been giving you guys. I've been trying to be as thorough as I can, so I don't feel like the problem's coming from me. I'm trying to give you guys as much information as possible about not only the noise, but the sources, and then also the codes that allow you guys to address the issue. So yeah, if there's ever any questions, if you have any questions, any concerns, any clarifications, any confusions on anything, feel free to reach out. But yeah, at some point in time, I would appreciate it if we could get on top of the situation here, and I wouldn't have to keep calling in every night because of this ridiculous noise. At some point, somebody within the city public servants should be able to monitor this and keep an eye on it, whether it be code enforcement or law enforcement. I don't know, and personally, frankly, I don't care. But somebody should be paying attention to this. This has been going on for far too long.
Right.
So, but I appreciate your time. Definitely keep your head up, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. I just want some peace and quiet.
I get it.
So, but God bless you.
I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, Brandon.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, but that's up to you all.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope you get some rest now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I think at this point I'm not going to get any rest until I get the hell out of the city. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't see that happening anytime soon because I can't afford it. But anyways, that's a whole other discussion. But no, I appreciate the sentiment. And again, if you need any help or any support, just let me know.
Yep, take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, bye.
Well, and there you have it. With Sergeant Patnod, 22 May 2021. Just before the June 15th, 2021, just last year, when they came to my property, threatened my life, threw me in a cage. I was in a cage for 10 days, basically in solitary. I didn't trust these people at that point. So I didn't feel like I could trust any of the food that they gave me or the situation that I was in. They wouldn't let me make a phone call to get a hold of family. They wouldn't let me make sure that my pets were taken care of. Nothing. They kept me in a cage the whole entire time until they were able to finagle and manipulate the foreperson of the grand jury and the county court